we want to preface something, and this is just us, this is our opinion, and we want to put this out there because there is a lot of this anger. I've seen anger for BVS, and it seems like now a lot of people have a lot of anger about Thor Ragnarok. It's like you either love it or you hate it, and if you don't, one of those two, you're
right. Yeah,
fucking retard.
Yeah.
It just seems a little over the top to me, and I just want to preface this that one, going into our review here, Shane and I's look on comedy is subjective.
Yes.
There is
on any movie is subjective, but yeah, definitely in comedy.
Especially when it comes to comedy, because comedy is very particular.
It is.
Because I don't think anybody has the same sense of humor.
No.
You can live with somebody for 40, 50 years, and you guys are just not going to have the same sense of humor. And, there's comedians that do things differently. Like Louis Black is a fucking angry political comic. Bo Burnham is a singing comic. Jeff Dunham is a puppet comic. There's all different varieties of comedy out there, etc. And this is one of the things that Shane and I disagree on. Shane likes Dane Cook. Yeah. I think Dane Cook is a piece of shit. He is not funny. He's worthless. But Shane loves him. Yeah. So there's a difference. There's right there a huge difference between comedy.
Well, one of the things that...
I appreciate comedy. Shane doesn't.
Clearly, yeah. One of the things that I still think is so funny was the time that... So I used to watch on HBO, they had this show called The Ricky Gervais Show. And it was basically like their podcast. You know where I'm going with this?
I think so.
And then it was cartooned into this TV show for like over half an hour. They would just take little clips of it. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. My wife looked at me like I was a moron. So I'm like, you know what? Matt appreciates comedy. So, Matt, come over. I want you to watch this show with me. He sits there just deadpan, straight face the whole fucking time as I'm losing it.
Laughing so much.
And I'm looking over at him like, how is this not funny to you?
Come on, man. He's such an idiot.
It's funny, right?
Yes,
it's funny.
He's an idiot.
I enjoy, I'm not a pothead, but I enjoy pothead humor.
Oh, yeah. And that's another one you and I really disagree on, is Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I can't stand that idiot.
Right. Except for Monsters vs. Aliens.
Yeah, when he plays Bob.
Yeah.
That's definitely his best role, because I didn't have to see him. And he didn't try to smoke a joint or talk about being Jewish.
Right, exactly.
so it was different.
Yeah, sure. just wait till Lion King.
When Pumbaa lights up a fucking doobie. Do people use the word doobie anymore?
I don't know.
My speaking.
That's perfect. But yeah,
that doobie is.
that's a perfect example of how, even though we agree, on our preference of superhero films, comedy, we don't. We're just on two opposite sides. There's certain. I think we agree on a lot of the Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber, like that type of humor. There's some crossover, but we also are on a large spectrum of differing. So
when it comes to comic book movies, though, for the most part, Shane and I do line up. Yeah. And especially when it comes to what we desire in a comic book movie. And Shane said something recently to me that I just thought resonated really well. You were talking about when it comes to a comic book movie, no matter what genre type of comic movie it is, you would prefer a Logan over a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I would prefer, no matter what, I don't mind a Guardians of the Galaxy.
No. Yeah.
I don't mind the first Avengers. I don't mind the first Iron Man. I love all three of those, actually. Those are MCU movies that I will rewatch, and I have rewatched. I own them on Blu-ray.
Right.
And I have rewatched. I remember when I first got Guardians of the Galaxy, I rewatched it hundreds of times during Christmas.
Yeah, I remember.
I had it on fucking repeat.
Right.
I really burned myself out on it doing that, but I liked it a lot. I liked that first one for the most part, anyway. And those MCU movies work. So it's not MCU hate.
No.
There is a formula. We see a formula.
Yeah.
There is things that the MCU Disney does to generate mass appeal, which does bug me because I feel like they try to make mass appeal first.
Yeah.
Before they make a good movie.
They are fantastic at it. They're geniuses.
Oh, just look at the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
That trailer, I didn't even really pay attention the first time I saw the trailer, but they got another cute, adorable porg or whatever the hell, that thing that screams with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Money-making machine.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I've seen so many like
Baby
memes
Groot,
and
BB-8. Jesus Christ, dude.
Yep. That's what they do.
They're going to own us.
If they don't already.
China, they're going to own us.
Yeah, they're great at doing that. I agree. They definitely go with mass appeal first. How that was a lot of people's gripe about The Force Awakens. is that it just stuck to a successful formula instead of branching out a little bit.
Yeah. They felt it just took from the first one.
Right.
And some parts of the other ones as well.
Yeah.
It was basically a rehash.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's just kind of how we are. But again, it's all subjective. And before we get into a review, Shane and I already know that we're in the minority.
Yes.
All right. We know it. You're not going to change your minds on this. And we don't really expect to change your mind.
No.
This is just our opinion. And we do realize we're in the minority on this one.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be a tad bit more reasonable-ish than most in our group, I guess.
Yeah.
But
we're going to try to be.
Yeah, I'm bouncing right now. Yeah. I still have not come up with a score yet. But we'll see what happens.
All right. Off the cuff after we talk about all this stuff.
Yeah. So let's get into our spoiler review of Thor Ragnarok. So attention, spoilers. We're talking about everything in the movie.
Yep.
Fucking everything. Everybody died. It's Ragnarok.
It's Ragnarok. Everyone fucking died. Right?
No.
Right? No.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people did die in this.
They did.
But fuck, did nobody give a shit that they did.
No. All right. So real quick, Nick actually sent us his quick, Thor notes. Sent it to our Facebook page. Which is Comic Movie Marks, if you were wondering. So we wanted to go over those real quick. Unfortunately, as we talked about, Nick cannot be with us due to scheduling conflicts. So we asked him, hey, how did you feel about this movie? We'd like to know. Send us your notes. So we'll just go over them real quickly, and then we'll elaborate when we're kind of giving our breakdown. So Nick said these are some of his pros. He put the humor. Thor is a pretty ridiculous character to begin with. The irreverence works well with his arrogance. And then there's a spoiler, an Easter egg. Matt Damon and Sam Neill play Loki and Odin. And he said equals perfect. Too bad Affleck couldn't have played Thor. That would have been hilarious, actually. The tone, again, these are his pros.
Should have had Casey Affleck.
That would have been great. He said the tone, the idea of letting go of the past and finally moving forward for most of the characters. Another kind of
moving forward to a grave.
But another Easter egg, the Willy Wonka scene with the Grandmaster. That was one of the scenes that I laughed out loud about.
You did?
Yeah, I did. You didn't hear me?
Oh no!
Oh,
I was just like swing and a miss on that one because I thought there would have been so much of a better one because it's Disney. It should have been what's that fucking Small World After All.
Oh yeah.
It should have been Small World After All. And like that's what I was expecting because it should have been like a Disney ride.
Is Willy Wonka Disney?
No,
I don't know.
It's just some fucking 80s movie.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny. That's
I get what they were doing because of the colors and everything, but it's Disney. It should have been
it's almost like the same.
They should have like little puppets or something. It would have been hilarious if it was a Small World After All.
That would have been hilarious.
It's just my opinion.
And then continuing on his pros, he said the scene where Hulk and Thor talk after their fight, seeing Hulk being genuinely sad about being told no one likes him, he needed a hug. The Thor Hulk fight. And Loki laughing at Thor getting smashed like him. I did
laugh at that.
I'm glad Nick put that in his notes because I forgot to put that in mine. Okay, and I laughed out loud at that one too.
Hiddleston's acting on that one was really well done because he's like, give a little arm pump.
That's what it feels like.
that was really good. I did laugh at that one.
Yeah, Korg and Meeks. Which is, like the little bug monster. And then he put, and kind of bracketed, he said, oh, Meeks is dead. I stepped on him and I felt so bad. I couldn't leave him. Oh, Meeks is alive. The part towards the end. That was pretty funny. Then he said the ending fight with the release of Searcher on Asgard. Searcher? Yeah, Searcher on Asgard. Clever. And then Jeff Goldblum, suave asshole DJ. I had one of those at my wedding. Not very suave, though, but asshole DJ. And then he said Valkyrie getting a redemption / Hulk slamming into the Bifrost Bridge. Then Thor losing his eye, replacing Odin.
I think what he's talking about with Hulk hitting his banner, smashing against the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Did I say Bifrost? I think it's Bifrost Bridge.
Yeah, Bifrost.
If I said Bifrost. So then his cons, he said Odin dies because ... with a question mark. I want to get into that a little bit more. Pacing was off a few times, but overall memorable. Doctor Strange scene was funny, but not really needed. Silly cameo. I'd agree with that. Little shoehorned in there. Executioner was kind of perfunctory. I don't even know what that means. Nico, you intelligent bastard. I don't even know how to pronounce Watatiti. You think I'm going to know what perfunctory means?
He probably made it up. He just wanted us to say it on a fucking podcast.
Or hear me say it. Oh, this will be fucking hilarious. Would have liked if Hela was a bit more defined. I agree with that one. Random Grandmaster First Lady. Yeah, very true. And then his overall synopsis, he says, overall very funny and inventive with lots of great visuals and a nice progression for Thor and Hulk as characters. Left the theater with a huge smile. His score, do we want to give that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, as 4.2 out of 5 marks. Easy top 5 Marvel movies. And then,
keep going.
Okay, so read the GIF that Matt, what's his name? John Stewart. Matt sends a GIF of John Stewart like rolling over, just dead.
I'm Nick. I love you, but I didn't understand the score. Like, I agree with some of the stuff.
A lot of those, yeah.
Your cons were pretty much well established, and some of your pros I agree with, but the score was just. I thought you said you weren't surprised, but I always thought he was going to say like 3.5, 3.6.
He gave Doctor Strange pretty high from what I remember.
I don't remember.
It's so he tends to to favor these, and they're just
scores and they're stupid irrelevant numbers.
Yeah,
they don't mean anything in the long run.
We barely remember half of ours.
Yeah, but it is kind of a scale. I'm trying to see where things click, and like
I think definitely Battle Bob was confused by our scores because he's like, you fuckers don't give anything above a 4. We're like, yeah, it pretty much has to be a masterpiece.
Logan.
Yeah, Logan. I think I gave Wonder Woman, Batman vs Superman, Ultimate Edition, and fucking Man of Steel for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Iron Man.
Oh yeah. I think we both gave Iron Man like 4.1,
4 point something. Yeah, we gave it a high. I gave it a pretty high score.
You gave Avengers 4.
Yeah.
So we're up there. It takes a lot though. I think before talking or before we were recording, when Matt and I were talking, we kind of came to the conclusion that we agreed with the same cons that Nick had. It just depended on the weight and how much it weighed down the movie for you. If you were able to go, that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I recognize it. I'm going to continue. Every movie has flaws. Every movie has plot holes. Every movie has annoyances. But if those weigh down the movie for you more, you're going to give it a lower score. If, like he said, he walked out of there with a huge smile. He had fun. He enjoyed it. Joy. So that's why he gave it a higher score. So I think ultimately that's kind of what we determined. So now just kind of getting into some of our non-spoiler, our spoiler talk.
Oh man.
Do you want to give your positives first? Let's start there.
I will actually start off with some positives, and I will talk about the funniest parts to me anyway. These were the parts that I distinctly remember that were pretty fucking funny. When Thor's locked up in his little chair and he's getting scooted around and shit, and he's like
after the Willy Wonka scene.
Yeah, after the Willy Wonka scene, it should have been Small World, but anyway, he breaks free of the restraints, or they're like magnetic restraints, so he's able to beat the magnetism of what it is. And he's like, "What are you again?" He's like, "No, I'm the god of thunder," and he just like holds his hands up and like a little bit of static comes out of his fingers, and then Goldblum calls him Sparkles or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And I thought that was kind of funny. That made me laugh. This actually surprisingly made me laugh because this got me a good chuckle, but it was the get help.
Loki, I thought the world of you. I thought we were going to fight side by side forever, but at the end of the day, you're you and I'm me. I don't know, maybe there's still good in you, but let's be honest, our paths diverged a long time ago.
Yeah. It's probably for the best that we never see each other again.
That's what you always wanted. Hey, let's do Get Help.
What?
Get Help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great. It works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
We are not doing Get Help.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help him! Oh, classic.
Still hate it? It's humiliating.
No, not for me, it's not.
But this made me laugh. This actually really did make me laugh. It was out of nowhere, and it did ruin the moment that it was building, because it was like Thor and Loki having this discussion about, I guess, Loki, you just don't need me anymore. I don't want you around anymore. It's like they were having a serious, discussion, and Loki, you could see like some look on his face of like, oh, I guess Thor just doesn't care at all about me anymore. But then right afterwards, it's like, let's do get help. And I remember he said that. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get help. And I was totally oblivious to that one. I had no idea it was about to come.
I agree. I did not see that coming at all. I thought it was this stupid plan of like, oh, get help, someone get help. And then they'd run up and then like whoop, someone's ass, which that's kind of what happened. But it was something else happened that caught us off guard.
So Loki drapes an arm over Thor, and Thor is yelling, my brother needs help. He needs help. He's dying. And why these people would care that he needs help doesn't make sense at all, but it's still funny.
Yeah, because they're trying to kill him.
Yeah, they're trying to kill him either way, so good, he's wounded.
Yeah.
But then Thor sees them, they line up, and he throws Loki at him.
Fucking knocks him over like some bowling pins.
And he's like, see, it's humiliating. He's like, not for me.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
Banner falling and smacking against fucking Rainbow Road was funny. It was even a little reminiscent of the Hulk, Incredible Hulk movie, where Norton's banner falls out of the helicopter and hits the ground and then comes up as the Hulk.
Right.
But they did it differently on this. I thought he was just going to splat down on the ground, but no, he skipped like a fucking rock.
Yeah. So I think I'm starting to find some common humor in this, the fact that bodies getting flown everywhere, and
ragdoll physics.
Yep, I know we both enjoyed the part in Titanic where the guy falls and hits the fan.
Yeah, he hits the propeller and
the fan.
Shit hits the fan.
Yeah. So
So that was kind of funny. Again, though, they had this serious moment kind of building up. He's like, "You want to know who I am?" And then so he skips like a rocket. And I was telling Shane this before we got on here. As I was saying it out loud to him, I kind of realized, because this was the thing that kind of did annoy me was, there was this whole thing about Banner. He was worried about turning into the Hulk because he thinks he won't be able to come back, that he'll lose control. And it kind of just gets skipped along, and who gives a shit for the joke of him skipping like a rock. And then it zooms in on his face where he's just dead. He's fucking dead. And I kind of, and as I said that, I'm like, I guess that's the metaphor or the analogy or whatever you would want to call it. Banner's dead.
Yeah.
And now here Hulk is going to be the one in rule.
Not to segue off too far, but that was one of the things that bugged me a little bit is, from what I remember, I don't remember a whole lot of Ultron, so maybe there was something else in there that there's kind of evolution. But you remember we just watched the Avengers, and he has the clever line of, oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm always angry. Boom. And then he could change, no problem. What happened? At what point does now all of a sudden he's stuck as Hulk? I don't remember.
They changed everything. They got rid of the MCU. That's exactly what Ruffalo was talking about. We'll get into the... this is our positive, so we're trying to be positive first.
Yeah. All right.
So we'll get into
one of those things.
Then Thor getting smashed, just like Loki did with the whole thing. That was pretty funny. I wrote that down. When Thor gets fucking smashed. And then the last one was actually funny to me because I just now realized, thank God we watched some of these stuff recently, but when I watched the Avengers... when we reviewed the Avengers movie, there's a point where Tony walks up to him. He's like, you got a mean swing, Point Break. And I never heard him say Point Break before every time I've ever watched Avengers. And in this, his code word to get in access to the Quinjet was Point Break.
Point Break, yeah.
And so that made me laugh because it's Point Break.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a nice little tie-in / that made me laugh. One last thing that made me laugh, and this is one of the big ones that you and I laughed at that we weren't supposed to laugh at, but Scourge, the Executioner Scourge, he jumps out, he's got his M16s, he's got his cheat code going on. He's just his gun's from Texas.
Game Genie plugged in.
Yeah, he just just going nuts. He finally runs out, and then he just gets fucking knife or whatever right to the thing. And I don't know if this was on purpose or what the fuck what's the actor's name? Shit. Urban. God, Carl Urban. He just goes, ah! Like, he makes this weird noise.
Yeah, over exaggerated, like death.
Yeah. Just like, ah! And you and I think the guy next to you.
Yeah. On my side. He
busted up laughing.
Yeah.
Like, we were the only three. Everybody else was dead silent. Yeah. And I was crying.
Yeah. I was laughing pretty hard at that.
It was just so funny the way he's like, like the way he did it. The way he did it was fucking funny.
That's great. One of the random laughable moments for me was the orgy reference. I think it just caught me so off guard that
You're like, what the fuck?
I was like, what the fuck? And I started laughing, and then when he says, "Yeah, don't touch anything," I thought that was pretty funny. And for that to be in a Disney movie, that caught me off guard a little bit. So kudos to them.
One other thing, I guess, is kind of maybe a positive, but remember in those but in those early reviews, they were talking about an amazing cameo. We never saw. It wasn't Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man was not.
I think it was Matt Damon. Is what. They were probably going at. That was probably the amazing.
Yeah, you're probably right. Which that totally passed me by. I did not catch that at all. Matt Damon. Who did he even play?
Loki.
Okay,
he was the one there, like,
right.
Like,
yeah. Okay. So he played Loki. Yeah, I didn't catch that at all.
I just kind of remembered one other one that made me smile a little bit was when Loki playing Odin sees Thor for the first time and goes, shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's Anthony Hopkins saying shit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which was kind of funny.
And kind of acting as like a coward, even though like Odin's character, fucking Anthony Hopkins has so much presence. And in that moment, he's like, kind of cowering a little bit. So that was pretty funny. I liked some of the my positives. As I talked about in the non-spoiler portion, I did enjoy Hela. I enjoyed a lot of her, the aspects of her character. I thought there was a good solid moment, like I said, probably like a half an hour where shit started to seem like it started to get a little bit serious. This is kind of where the identity crisis for this film, came in for me, because I actually started feeling like, okay, they're building her up as a villain. You're starting to kind of see her power. She's pretty relentless. She has that one fight against fucking all those dudes with shields and just fucking just tears them down. Like they all got tore a new asshole. So I thought a lot of those things were, that was pretty solid. There's some weak points of her still, unfortunately, which I'll get into with the cons, but I thought she was a pretty sweet villain.
Unfortunately, I gotta start going to my cons because that was about it.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me give some of my positives.
Okay.
Overall, I thought the action scenes were pretty solid. The bridge scene was solid. Again, Hela's stuff was pretty awesome. I'm trying to think of some of the other good action scenes. Oh, the Thor, obviously the Thor Hulk fight.
That is another positive. The action scenes were pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like when he turned Raiden. That was pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to next. When he gets his lightning powers. That was fucking awesome. That was another part that I chuckled at too, was when he hits Hela with like this humongous blast of lightning and it hardly does anything to her. And then I think it's Banner or someone says, hit her with lightning.
Loki.
Oh, Loki. And he's like, I just gave her the biggest blast of lightning of all lightning or some shit like that. I took
it as a sexual joke. But
yeah, could have been, but and he's like, and that didn't do anything to her, So that made me laugh. But yeah, those powers that was pretty fucking awesome. Like you said, when he turned into Raiden, that was awesome.
And I like how they rewrote it. And this is one of the times where they rewrote it, because so far what we've seen with Thor is all his power of thunder and lightning and everything comes from Mjolnir. Mjolnir's gone, and they even have this flashback, which I'll get into, where Odin says, "Were you the god of hammers? No, you're the god of thunder." And so that's when he kicks in and realizes his power. And
that got a pretty big pop. I didn't think that part was very funny. But
yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But I get what they did it for, because now they've rewritten it where he's not using Mjolnir as the power source. He is the power source.
Yeah, which I like. I like that concept, but...
It makes him pretty OP.
It does for sure. But
even though he still couldn't beat Hela.
Thor without a hammer... Like, I feel like in every aspect, like his hammer does some cool shit. I'm sure he's gonna
get something back, but
hopefully, I don't know. The way he flies. Well, I guess now he doesn't even fucking need it, because he could just
jump really far
with lightning.
He's like Storm,
something like that. Yeah,
Raise his hands
up,
up,
pretty much. Just like float. yeah, that's kind of the main bulk of my positives. There were some other that I'll kind of rope in, maybe, possibly. I don't know.
So with Hela, I liked her, and I liked this backstory she was giving. And this kind of annoyed me in the fact that there was a lot of cool potential behind this.
Yeah.
I love the fact when she breaks the memorial, and there's the truth behind that little memorial, that roof ceiling memorial thing that he has. It's all positive and butterflies, and she breaks it, and it shows what Asgard really was.
Yeah.
A ruthless nation that just took over, and apparently now they've expanded it out from between the 9 realms, because she even says he only decided to take over 9 realms. Well, we'll have an infinite amount of realms, and so it's no longer, that whole thing in Thor 1 where he explained that the little tree to her and stuff, the realm tree is gone to shit. So that's all gone.
Yep,
it's an infinite amount now.
I wish they would have elaborated on that a little more, because
that's the story I wanted to hear.
Yeah, all she really says is, and then Odin just decided to go.
He went peace loving.
Yeah.
It wasn't maybe because he met his wife. Never got any reason why.
Yeah, like,
did he have Thor? And she says that he did it and replaced me with you.
Right.
And I don't know if that means because he just had Thor.
Yeah.
And so now I guess he has a newborn, so now he feels obligated to,
I guess,
be good. I don't know.
But we also don't really know why she was the goddess of death and war or whatever. Like, you don't really understand why she was his executioner.
Well, you don't really know why Thor's the god of thunder.
That's true.
It's just their gods of shit.
Yeah. Fair point. Yeah. So I guess because he becomes the god of thunder, now all of a sudden he's, I don't know, better. I don't know. For as great as Hela was, there were some things that really bugged me. Her lack of backstory. There were some. I remember hearing a lot of people. It didn't bug me too much, but now I kind of understand it. A lot of people complaining about Suicide Squad.
Enchantress.
Thank you. Yep. The way Hela walked is reminding me a lot of her.
Yep.
A mixture of her and do you remember? I know you've seen the old Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember how choppy Medusa is when she moves? Yeah,
because it's claymation.
Yeah, because it's
stop motion.
Yeah, that's kind of how Hela moves when she gets her antler crown thingy.
Yeah,
and it was bugging me at a lot of moments.
Sometimes she had the crown, sometimes she didn't. Just kept going back and forth.
It was like when she fought. No, because there were other parts where she didn't have the crown and she wasn't fighting. That's kind of how I took it, because she's like approaching Thor and she has her long hair. Then all of a sudden her long hair turns into the thorns. Was that was kind of cool, to see. But when she got him and she's just standing there talking, the way she moved really bugged me. And I get the gripes with an Enchantress now. It didn't bug me with Enchantress, but I can now totally understand what people were seeing, where it's like a lack of CGI, or maybe it's just the way the actress decided to move a certain way. It's just weird, and that shit kind of bugged me.
Actually, honestly, when I came out of this and I was comparing it to stuff, I felt like, because the way the editing was done in this, the way the villain was, the randomness of things, the random jokes, I actually equated this to the Suicide Squad of the MCU. It seemed choppy. It seemed out of place. The jokes were just... they didn't land very well, just like Suicide Squad. But there's a particular amount of people that just liked it, and then didn't. For some reason, Thor gets 93 and on Rotten Tomatoes, and Suicide Squad gets 20,
60. No, it wasn't even in the 60s. What am I thinking?
I really equate it to like the Suicide Squad.
No, that's a very good point.
But fuck, man, endless horde of different creatures and shit like that, just like Suicide Squad. That she was creating.
Yep.
And just fuck, I don't know. That's kind of what I came down to. I really dwelled on that. Like, she was talking about this history, and I'm like, it's that old thing of history is written by the winners. That's why he was able to make up this fake story about Asgard and stuff like that. And I just got really annoyed by that. There's the whole conflict with Banner. He wants to turn back into the Hulk, and he lose his humanity. Is he going to lose? I felt like that was totally glossed over, and they just kept making jokes about it to the very end, to where he basically plops on top of a fucking Rainbow Road. There's those serious moments where there was a good story being told there, a serious movie, and it gets immediately wiped away.
That's, unfortunately, that is Marvel's MO.
But this was done to a more extreme.
Yeah.
There's a difference between this and Civil War. Civil War, Tony pops a quip during a fight. All right. but it's still a fight.
Yeah,
I'm
not even really thinking of Civil War so much as like Doctor Strange. You know, Doctor Strange. I
felt like this was even worse.
The Great One or the Chosen One dies, and then there's no. You know, there's a joke like right afterwards, and nothing can settle. And
that's not right either. I don't think it's called the Chosen One either.
No, whatever.
The Avatar bitch.
Yeah, yeah. So
the Ancient One.
The Ancient One. Yeah, whatever. I said the Great One. The Rock made an appearance in Doctor Strange. It would have been a lot better if
I was thinking Harry Potter, the Chosen One.
Anyway. Oh yeah. There you go. I agree. I'm not even to that point yet. To me, I'm curious to see how you felt about this. I felt there was a mixture of overacting and underacting. So the overacting example I have is Valkyrie. I enjoyed her character, but at certain parts, I felt like she was trying way too hard to have attitude, and she had to have these pouty lips and a head bob to give her attitude.
Yeah.
And it was like very over the top, unnecessary head bobbing when she was like talking to Thor and
the lip puckering.
Yeah, it just that bugged me.
These are going to be like minor gripes because everybody has their own little things like that. This isn't questioning her acting ability or anything.
No, and I enjoyed the character. That was one of those things.
I have some weird ones too. So
yeah, that kind of bugged me, and I'm really curious your thought about Jeff Goldblum.
I didn't like him.
Okay, thank you. I didn't like him at all. I felt I get he has. And I underacting, I guess, is not the right way to put it, but he did. He totally did. And it works in some aspects, but when Thor and they're like taking the ship and he's like telling everyone to go get the ship, he doesn't seem pissed at all. He's just like, go.
Well, it seems more mad that she called them slaves. I don't like that word. Don't
right.
use the S word.
Yeah.
Prisoners with jobs. Like,
yeah. I like that better.
Yeah. It's like, really?
Yeah,
that's where we're going with this.
I did not like him. His character bugged the shit out of me. I think maybe the one part like you talked about, with the sparkles, a little bit of the Thor Hulk fight. He's a little entertaining in that. Other than that, everything else was worthless. The after credit scene was stupid. That
made no sense because they never showed him in the ship. This is what we're talking about, the editing.
Yeah.
They never showed him in the ship. Why was he in the wreckage in this ship walking out with his first lieutenant, whatever she was, or whatever. First lady, what did Nick call her? First lady something or whatever.
Yeah.
Grandmaster.
Right. Grandmaster, first lady, sergeant or something. Yeah.
And they just walking out of this. Why? He was never up in the air that we saw. I don't think. Right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I
don't
never saw him
either.
get into a ship.
Yeah. We both missed it if that happened.
I never saw it. Don't know why.
Yeah. So the one of the last things, then you can kind of get into your little nitpickiness, and then I'll get into my overall feeling, my overall negatives. But one of the last things was I did not like the score of this film. I liked.
It was pretty fucking boring.
The one song that was used in the trailer. Yeah. That was used in pretty cool parts. Other than that, it reminded me of like a Pac-Man or like an 80s, 90s video game. Like very has kind of it might have been, but it kind of bugged me, and I laughed to myself because I'm like, man, there's certain films that I will notice a score. It's almost better like you either have a great score or you don't notice the score at all and it's just kind of there. This one, it bugged the shit out of me. There were several points where I'm like, man, this is just annoying me, and it's like taking me out of whatever moment I'm supposed to be in, which I was still confused by. And it bugged me. Maybe some people enjoyed it. I didn't like it at all.
So one of my weird nitpicks, and I'm probably alone on this one, I don't know how you felt. I kind of asked you, but I don't remember your response, was I didn't like Hulk's voice. I didn't like how he sounded.
Remember you telling me about that. I agree with the deepness.
Yeah.
The lack of deepness.
So in Avengers, that was actually Lou Ferrigno that said puny god. That wasn't Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, okay.
And that was his cameo for the Hulk. Was saying puny god. That voice, I remember hearing that puny god. I'm like, that's a Hulk voice.
Right.
When this, from what I understand, this is actually Ruffalo doing the voice.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I maybe I'm retarded, maybe I'm deaf, I don't have kids, whatever. I thought he was almost inaudible for me. Like, I could not understand what he was saying sometimes. That's probably just my issue. We were in a surround sound Atmos theater. Maybe I was sitting in the wrong spot. I don't know. But that was getting a little annoying because, like, they're having these discussions, and I honestly can barely understand Hulk through half that shit. That's probably my issue, but that was just one of my issues, was I could barely understand him. The way he talked and stuff, my brain wasn't registering the way he was talking. So that's just one of my small nitpicks. And also the way Ruffalo was talking. I thought he was over-accentuating some of his words.
Yeah.
And he was just, like, panicking the whole time. And also, Mark Ruffalo is a midget. And Robert Downey Jr. is not very tall either, but he's a lot taller than Mark Ruffalo, and the pants wouldn't be that tight on him.
Right.
Anyway, so that whole poking at your crotch shit is not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, he wears very, very tight pants, apparently.
Yeah, very. Or Mark Ruffalo has a very big dick. Maybe a Hulk dick. Oh, that was one thing I forgot about. Hulk ass.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That totally... I don't know if... I guess it was kind of entertaining, but it was kind of like, oh, what the fuck? I did not expect that.
Big old giant green ass and shit.
I thought he was going to make a giant, like, green penis reference, but maybe that they left those type of jokes to Guardians of the Galaxy. Could be.
Oh, anyway. So I think we can get into our overarching gripes. That was the nitpicks. So let's just talk about death in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's the common overarching problem with this movie. Is that there no death, not necessarily even death, no relationship really meant much.
Nothing.
Even if you go to the Valkyrie, Thor, sort of like starting to have something, nothing. Nothing. Like, even my wife loves to see that. She was looking for companionship in Rambo, the latest Rambo movie that came out. She loves that kind of stuff. She eats it up. Nope. We're gonna not even have that. So
Jane Foster dumped him. That was
I dumped her. You know, that
it was a mutual dumping.
Right. There was like a random joke about that. That just sucked. And again, that it goes into the identity crisis with this film, is it didn't know what it wanted to be. As Nick put it, Odin dies. Okay. Matt and I we were talking about this after we left the theater, and actually getting pretty fired up about it. We were both really confused as to why Odin died and how he died and why it was the way it was, and all of a sudden Hela shows up.
On Earth.
Right.
In a portal, right where they were.
Right.
Why would she come there?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she go immediately to Asgard? If she has this ability to break through a portal or teleport wherever the fuck she wants to go, why wouldn't she just go to Asgard? Why is she going there where Odin... It made no sense.
What I was expecting, and this did not happen at all, but I was giving it the benefit of the doubt after it happened. I was expecting...
and the exposition dump, real quick. By the way, you have a sister named Hela. And just Anthony Hopkins is just rolling through all this information. I'm like, wow, well, we got 2 minutes of story wrapped up in, like, on a log on top of a hilltop.
Boom, and then he dies.
And then bye.
I was expecting somehow there to be a link between his death and her showing up.
Apparently him being there is what kept her locked up. So, him dying did relate to her being free. Somehow.
So then...
It's never explained why or how exactly...
Right.
What he was doing to hold her there.
Yeah. Though what I thought it was is he just banished her, and then now she finally was able to arrive, you know, and she's like, sweet, I found him or something like that. But like you said, on Earth randomly, if they're all there, why wouldn't she just go to Asgard and take it over then?
Yeah.
You know, so Odin dying was a huge miss. It's so sad that, like, Anthony Hopkins had such a huge part in this trilogy, and it's squandered.
Pixie dust.
Yeah.
Out to the ocean.
Yep.
The Valkyrie, like, Loki knows about this group of Valkyrie, these women, group of elite warriors that got mercilessly killed when he first meets the one chick Valkyrie.
Yeah.
When he meets her, but he doesn't know how they got killed because he's never heard of Hela or anything. But he knows about the scenario where they all died. It made no fucking sense. Not knowing about Hela at all. They never knew the hiding of the memorial or whatever, that rooftop fucking thing. Right. All of it was just so stupid. The death of the Warrior 3. The people that have been in the last 2 fucking movies.
Yeah.
2 of them just get a couple knives to the chest, and immediately after we get a janitor joke from fucking Carl Urban's character.
Yep.
All right, they're dead. And then the other guy, he fights her off. He has a decent little scruffle. He dies. No one cares. Thor never says a fucking word about his friends dying.
No.
His only time, the one time his dad comes up dying is in a child fight with Thor as they throw shit back and forth. I lost my hammer. I lost my dad. And they're throwing stuff in a childish argument.
Right.
That's the only, I mean, yeah, he gets initially mad at Loki when his dad dies, but after his hammer's destroyed, that's it. And then there's like a childish fight, and then he has a couple flashbacks to Ghost Dad.
Yep.
Fucking end, it was fucking Ghost Dad. He might as well have been stacking rocks on that fucking hill.
When you leaned over to me in the movie and you're like, it's fucking Ghost Dad, I about lost it. I was like, holy shit.
It might as well have been Kevin Costner fucking stacking rocks on the fucking hilltop.
Yeah, talking about a flood.
That almost wiped out Asgard.
As he's eating his, victory pie or whatever the fuck he calls it. Hero cake.
Yeah, his hero cake.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I was like, it's the same speech.
It is.
It's
totally
the same
is.
fucking speech. Be what you are. You're not going to be able to save that. But it's almost the same speech. It was just Marvel style with colors and grass and brightness.
Exactly.
But they were in the snow and rocks and grittiness.
Yeah.
It was just... It was fucking Ghost Dad. I couldn't believe it.
That's so funny. I about lost it.
It just...
Yeah, and
why he's having these premonitions, I have no fucking idea.
No.
Is he tied to Odin?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Must be.
Is there anything like that? I don't know. I have no idea. Is it just because he's in Asgard? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, would you know what Odin died of? Old age? Is that what it was?
The only thing I could gather, and I tried to piece it out as we were driving back, is that because Loki banished him to fucking Earth, because he was separated from Asgard, he was separated from his power. And so basically his power was what was keeping him alive, like immortal or as Odin figure. And so because he was separated from so long, he lost that ability and basically just died of that's what I gathered. I don't know if I'm right. I might have just made that up in my head.
Oh, that's a great argument.
But
I was lost. I thought it was old age, and when Asgardians
technically,
die,
like it is.
Yeah,
it is. It's
true,
because now
true.
the age and everything is catching up to him on Earth because he's basically mortal.
Right, and then he turns into pixie dust.
Yeah. And gets shot out to the ocean.
Yeah,
That's what farted
pretty
when
much.
he fucking floated out there.
Oh, sorry, Dad. Yeah. So even though I enjoyed a lot of the fights and the action scenes with Hela, I did think a lot of the deaths were pretty corny. Not that I need blood necessarily.
This is the one thing the MCU does well, I thought. They show a lot of battle damage. I thought that was the one great thing about Civil War was like at the end of that fight between Tony and Captain America, they look like they were in a fight.
Right.
Unlike Batman versus Superman, where Wonder Woman looked exactly the same. Superman just had a gaping hole in his chest, and Batman.
But that's after two fights.
Yeah, that's right. After two, he did have a little bit of
a little scar on his cheek. Yep.
And I thought that was the one thing the MCU did really well. It was like battle damage, but in this there was nothing.
Yeah,
Thor's getting pounded in the face by Hulk. Not a fucking single thing. Yeah. Like he had some scuff marks, like bruises on his body, but
I think 300 kind of ruined me for the all the guys with the shields and stuff because when they're dying, it was pretty corny. It was a cool the way she's flipping around and she's just destroying them. But the way they're just kind of like falling, like collapsing in instant death.
One of that part reminded me of when she's fighting all those guards. I was like, holy fuck, it's Matrix Reloaded.
Right.
It's Rubber Neo versus all the Smiths. Except it did look a little bit better, but she still looked rubber like fucking Neo.
Right.
And she was doing almost the same moves. It looked exactly like that. It was crazy to me. I was just laughing at that. I was like, oh, okay, it's Rubber Neo. Way to go. You're the one. All right. Fuck. And then the jokes. Okay, this is the thing. Again, I understand humor is subjective. In comedy, there's kind of an unwritten rule about jokes being overused. You don't use the same joke. You don't draw out a joke too much, or you lose the crowd. Some comedians have now turned that a little bit into the joke, that they overuse the joke, and that's the joke.
Yeah.
I get that. I hate that. I really hate when the joke gets ran out too long. I really despise that.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before because I remember I'm a big Family Guy fan, and they do that a lot.
This was actually kind of reminded me of a fucking Family Guy episode.
No.
Yeah, the way they were talking, it's like, hey, you remember that time when I fucking Well, like when he got the snake and he jumped out and stabbed me. It was just like that.
Right.
They just didn't have the flashback to it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, clip? Thought we had a clip. Yeah, but in certain instances it works. Here it just didn't. You know, you have the chain spinning thing at the very beginning.
That was annoying.
Yeah.
The hammer not coming to him exactly when he wanted it to.
I was worried. Like,
thank God that thing blew up, or they would have used it 10 more fucking times. Well, actually, they did do it even after it blew up. He's just like holding his hand out.
Yeah, like oh wait,
I forgot it got blown up in my face.
Yeah.
And the fucking tasering. I looked at Shane at one point. I'm like, if they taser him one more fucking time, if they electrocute him in some manner one more fucking time, I'm walking out. They did it so many times. The same fucking thing over and over. How many times can we watch him be electrocuted? First, he's electrocuted by the net. Then she electrocutes him with the little thing, just like in Planet Hulk, where they had the little things. She electrocutes him twice. Then he runs into the grid thing in front of fucking Hulk's little palace. Then they electrocute him again during the fight of Hulk and Thor. He got electrocuted at least 5 or 6 times.
Well, but wait, there's more. Then Loki gets electrocuted.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was fucking driving me nuts. I'm like, okay, you killed it. You fucking killed it. I kind of put that this show reminded me of SNL, Saturday Night Live. This was a sketch show drawn out for 2 hours and 10 minutes because every point of dialogue did not really further the story. It was set up for the next joke.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was a punchline dialogue. Mm-hmm. None of it was meaningful. It was, I'm sorry. I know I'm not a writer. Any of these writers, Taika Waititi, all this stuff have more talent in their little pinky than I do. All right. I will fully admit to that. But the writing was so bad, and how people this is what reminded me of Suicide Squad, was the dialogue interactions between characters was so bad. And it reminded me of this. It was all dialogue to lead up to a stupid fucking joke. None of it meant anything. Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie is like, this dumb dog won't die, as she just machine guns it. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just like, and then the whole interaction with Banner, like, oh, I like you. I don't like the Hulk. He's smashy too much. And then when it's the Hulk, oh, I don't like Banner. He's all numbers and stuff like that. I'm like, it was just so fucking, it was just all this stuff. None of it meant anything. Yeah. And it was just all dialogue to lead up to a joke.
That is such a perfect segue, because my final and my biggest gripe, because I thought we were actually going to have a moment. I agree with Nick and having Surtur, get reincarnated to basically cause Ragnarok. And, you have that moment where Thor says, oh, it's not about preventing Ragnarok. It's about, creating it or something like that. And then you have this moment, they're all on the ship and they're all watching Ragnarok just get devoured. Their home is gone. Their entire world is gone. It was all a setup for a joke. We can still build on foundation, and then, there's no foundation.
And I did laugh at that, but I was laughing not really at the joke, but at the fact that this guy just made a joke. Why Asgard just gets turned to dust, is what I put.
It was. I chuckled at it because it was very eye rolling. Like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
Again, not to compare the two, but which we do all the time, so I don't know why I'm prefacing this, but I had more sympathy for Feora and Zod watching their world blow up, who are supposed to be villains, are heels, villains, whatever you want to call them. I had more sympathy for them, as Feora falls to her knees when Krypton blows up, than I did for any of these characters that just watch their entire world blow up. And you hit the nail on the head that everything was to set up for the next joke. I almost feel like that was the whole point of that, is so that Korg can get that joke in, and then that's it. They just fucking lost their planet.
Realm. It was a flat Earth for all you flat Earth people out there.
Yeah, the realm. Yeah,
Proof.
My bad. Right. Yeah.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. That'll be the title of our YouTube thing. Maybe we'll get some clicks. Flat Earth confirmed.
Flat Asgard confirmed.
Yeah. But their entire realm just blown to shit, and just destroyed, and it's almost like no one gives a shit. They're moving on, and okay, now we're just gonna go invade Earth, and it's that's Man of Steel too.
But Asgard isn't a place; it's the people,
right?
And then in the extra credit scene, they're gonna get wiped out by a giant fucking ship that probably has Thanos in it.
Yeah.
So bye Asgard.
Right. Yeah. Apparently. So I actually
make a slapstick joke.
I like that stuff. I like the fact that they were like, no, Asgard isn't a place; it's a people, and I thought that was kind of cool. That was a part of the build of like, okay, they're trying to make Asgard mean something. It has meant something for two movies. And, you know, and that's what Thor always says, you know, I'm God of Thunder and King of Asgard or whatever. And
Son of Odin.
Yeah, Son of Odin, yep. He always says it, and it, you know, I felt that they were using that to make it a big deal. And yeah, you start having a moment and then boom, it just gets squandered. And I'm like, fuck, that was my biggest, like, I thought something was finally going to stick, and nope, it just, they went with the joke. And I was really disappointed with that. And that just kind of summarized, well, that was the fucking movie. So
yeah, well, that's what it was. That's the point. Two things I just want to point out, and then I think we'll give scores here. I think we're pretty much railed against this enough. But there's two. I don't like people that blurt out in movies, and I do it unfortunately sometimes. I apologize for doing it. But I had two moments where I was just like, I couldn't help myself. But there's a part where Thor is talking to Valkyrie, and he's got this fucking pillowcase or something, or a little blanket on top of his head. And, and she's like, what's that? He's like, my disguise, but I can still see your face. He's like, not if I do this. And he puts it across his face, the little part of it. I'm like, oh, fucking comic genius. Or creative genius.
Yeah, creative genius is what you said.
Creative genius is here. I was just like, holy shit. And then there's the part where they're on the spaceship flying into Asgard. And she looks down and she's like, there seems to be a large heat signature right here on the top of the mountain.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And it shows like a bunch of little red dots. So it's not really a heat signature.
No, it's literally showing the people.
but then there's this little green dot going towards them. And I was like, well, isn't that fucking convenient? Out loud.
Yeah, and I lost it at you saying that. I was like, oh, man. Yeah.
I was like, why is there a green dot? Why is it green?
Right. Why are the fucking little people each individual red dots? That's not a heat signature. That's just showing the people. Dot. Yeah.
I was like, and again, with this YTT guy, this director, I'm wondering if that's an additional joke.
Maybe.
Like, it could be an additional joke where that's just he knew how stupid it was, so he put it in there to have it in there.
That could be. Maybe that's the cleverness.
That's the thing with the guy. When somebody that doesn't, you can tell, doesn't take anything serious. I don't think anything is serious in the movie.
Yeah.
So when you have this little radar, and I was like, that's fucking convenient. I think it was a joke. I really do. I think it was supposed to be like this little extra top, like someone notices it or not. Some people may just gloss by it, like, oh, radar, okay, whatever, and like not even. But then like someone like me, where I'm just like, well, fuck, okay. So it was just that whether it was supposed to be a joke, I could almost picture it as a joke. But I'm sorry, I didn't find it funny.
No, well, we found it funny how ridiculous it was.
Yeah. I guess maybe that's the goal. I don't know.
So one last thing, we saw this, actually Matt saw this comment on Instagram that we thought was so well put and kind of summarizes, you know, how we feel about this film. It's by Dehika_Alexander. I'm probably butchered the first name. But he said, when you read the comic, it was dark, sad, the darkness of Thor's life. And the director rejected all the source material and made it for fun and comedy. And then we are called not open-minded. Thor lost his eye, lost his people, lost Asgard, lost his best friends, lost his father, lost Mjolnir, and what I have is Thor throw the ball and hit and get hit back at his face. I'm kind of like trying to paraphrase a little bit of this. And then he said, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was a good movie. I don't hate it, but I really don't enjoy it either.
I just thought that summarized the movie really well.
Yeah.
All these serious things that happen in the movie, and then Thor, you know, throws a ball, bounces off the window, and hits him in the face.
Yep.
I think that summarized the movie very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess let's give scores.
Okay. I already gave my synopsis at pretty much in the non-spoiler portion. But overall, this just isn't really our cup of tea. And again, as I kept hitting on, this film had some identity problems. We prefer it's unanimous between the two of us. I don't even know if you would use unanimous for two people, but it is that we prefer Logan over Guardians of the Galaxy.
A movie like Logan,
right,
over a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep, exactly. And even though I was expecting this to be more Guardians of the Galaxy, it shifted a little bit, and that's what threw it off. So overall, I gave it a 2.8 out of 5. There were still some enjoyable moments. I did laugh. not at things that I was supposed to laugh at. So I gave it credit for that. I thought there were some cool points. Unfortunately, it just typically, it's the typical stuff, just gets weighed down where there's no type of emotion that you can connect with unless you're laughing. That's what they want you to do. And unfortunately, that's not my preference. So, if they keep pumping out these numbers, or these type of films, I think I'm going to keep responding with these type of numbers, and correlating as far. I think I gave Doctor Strange way lower than that, but
yeah.
Or if I didn't, I should have. Yeah. So that's just kind of my feeling, overall feeling on it.
Again, comedy is subjective, and I went into this to the best of my capabilities after seeing early reviews that this was going to be more of a comedy. So I was comparing it to movies that were comedies first, like Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, and so forth.
Right.
So I tried to do that, and it really wasn't, again, comedy subjective, and I didn't find it very funny. The parts I did find funny, I laughed pretty hard at. Not pretty hard, but I laughed. I had a good outburst of laughter. There's some parts that you and I, like you said, laughed at that weren't technically supposed to laugh at for the most part.
Well, that now you bring up a good point. Maybe we were. We don't fucking know.
Yeah, maybe. With the way this guy does movies and the way this guy does stuff, there's a very good possibility. When you're using comedy in a way to repetitively use the same joke, and the super lack of seriousness and the constant repetitive jokes, and just like it meant nothing. And also the fact that the trailer spoiled almost everything. I was just like, wow, this is following exact fucking beats that I knew it would.
Nick's wife said, she basically said like the spoilers didn't ruin everything. I think there were aspects.
There's the ending. The ending is the only thing that wasn't technically ruined. I thought the Surtur guy and Hela were on the same side.
Yeah.
That was the only thing, the way I thought the movie was going to end.
But we knew Surtur was going to be in there.
Yeah.
And we saw the part
I called
where
him
he's
the updated version from Spawn.
Right.
From the Spawn movies.
Yep.
I thought he was going to be there. I thought he was going to be the bad guy Hulk fought.
Yeah.
While the other ones fought Hela. Because Hulk versus him. But no, it turned out, he was pivotal to the plot, I guess. Anyway, to ending or starting Ragnarok. Anyway, so it just wasn't that funny compared to other movies that I thought have funny with this similar tone, I guess you can say. It wasn't a fucking you can call it a superhero movie, but it wasn't. If you want to call it a superhero movie, it definitely isn't the superhero movie that I prefer. I honestly would watch the first Thor over this one. I have a feeling there might be a director's cut for this one. This may be the first time we see an MCU movie. I don't know. Maybe Marvel just doesn't even allow that. But I could see this one having a lot more footage somewhere. Yeah. Talking about Watiti's quote about the cuts and just the erraticness of some of the editing in this, I could see there possibly being it, depending on how Marvel looks, or just a shit ton of deleted scenes. Yeah. I give it 1.8.
1.8
out of 5. When I came close, that beginning half was tough. It got a little bit better in the second half.
I agree with that.
That beginning half, when I looked at you and I'm like, dude, I'm about to walk out if they taser him one more time. Like, I was getting so tired of that. I'm like, you're pandering to children. It's just a fucking. It's not.
I think that's it though. I think it's just we have such a different. Like, I would definitely take my kids, to see this movie. And not that, like, there are some kids movies that I enjoy. Yeah. Me and a coworker have this running long joke about Moana, and they came out. That's a fantastic Disney movie. And we'll review it sometime. No, we won't. But, no, I don't even want to talk about it. But this is one of those that I think they just pander to that specific crowd, and unfortunately, that's just not our preference. It's not our cup of tea. Yeah. And it is what it is.
Yeah.